All right, greetings, welcome back. So it is that time again for today where we're reading, and we're about halfway through this book, um, and then we probably won't want to read the second part of it because you know,
Whatever. It's not like we're doing anything else.
well, not now we're not, but
We're not going to be doing anything else for a long time. This is it.
we'll see. If I
Yeah.
if
Gosh,
the
if it got nice out, if it eventually warmed up
we mean
and
eventually warmed up with 16 degrees
hail,
2 days ago.
but today it was hailing, we could sit outside and you could read outside.
Uh huh.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So we're up to chapter 7. Mike has let everybody in on his major secret, and now we move along from there. Andrew Jenkins is looking for answers. He hasn't spoken to the horde of reporters yet. He knows there'll be more as they once again. There will be more as they once again earn the title as human vultures. If there is an easy answer to this, he doesn't have it. Deep down, he believes this place is better off without Charles Woods as leader, since the man was a bumbling idiot. He looks out at the earth below, and while pondering his next move, he believes that this situation can be turned, and he can become a hero to these people, but he has to play things right. Ben Wood storms in while Andrew ponders his next move. Ben's clearly shaken and upset, as anyone would be when losing their father. What are we going to do about this, he asks, slamming his fist down on Andrew's desk. It's the desk that had been his father's a day ago. Andrew looks down. I'm sorry for your loss, Ben. I'm going to do what your father would have wanted to see here. He was a good man, and now good leadership is needed in the face of adverse circumstances. There's so much tension on board, and it's important we bring back a balance. I believe the arcology is wound up and on the verge of coming undone, so it's time to open up level 48. Ben's jaw drops. You have to be kidding. You're going to take an event like this and turn it into a party? Level 48 is a theme park. There's escalating violence on this ship, and you want to throw a big party over it? You don't see a problem with this? Andrew sits down behind his new desk and nods his head. He turns to look out the window again, choosing not to look at Ben while he speaks. We also lost Sterling, and all of this while mourning the loss of Hector Cruz and his wife. Important people have fallen by the wayside, and I need to get people thinking about something else. I have to help stem the tide, Benjamin. Security will be present at this get-together, and maybe if a large percent of our population are in the same spot, we can find out who might be responsible for this wave of violence. Ben takes a few deep breaths. He knows he may not be the best leader in the universe, but the cold and calculating tone Andrew's using is maddening. He also knows his father may not have been the best leader, but he deserved better fate than this. He should be mourned, not remembered as the man who caused a festival when he died. He can't imagine anything less respectful, but maybe Andrew will pull out another idea on top of that one. My father was a good man. I know he had a rough time with Hector's passing, but he was still a good man. This isn't about your father now, Benjamin. There will be time for that later, once the danger is past. This is about what's going on, what's good for the arcology as a whole. There are nearly 500,000 people here, and now their safety rests with me. There are rumblings of quarantine and of widespread panic. I don't care for either of those options, so I'm going to show the world there is nothing wrong with this place or the people here. While we have this get together on level 48, I will have a medical team do a biological sweep of this level. You can bring the entire mess to a rapid close. Ben shakes his head. That's not a solution. Arcology 443 had a widespread outbreak that started on level 53 and then spread to other levels rapidly. You're assuming that this has been localized. You're putting together a gathering of people from this level with people from other levels, thus causing this to spread if it turns out to be viral. This has nothing to do with current events. Nothing. Andrew laughs and turns to face Ben. Well, look at you. You suddenly grow up and showed some brain power. I always knew you had it in you, even if it is a little too late now. The thing is, I'm the leader of this arcology, and what I say goes. Your father had too many meetings and asked for too much feedback. I don't really go for that. I have to believe that my opinion's the right one as leader. I don't even intend to name a second in command. Ben looks dumbfounded. You have to name a second in command. That's law. Not my law, Woods. All arcologies are founded on basic hierarchy systems, and you have to have a second in command. This isn't something you can arbitrarily rule out as the new leader, Ben says, tapping his fingers on Andrew's desk. I believe I can make my own rules. If someone 1,000 miles below wants to try and force my hand, they have to have quite the trip ahead of them. Until then, I rule alone. You can announce the gathering on level 48, though. Tell them it is to honor your father's memory. It's what he would have wanted. Now more than ever, we can show them that life is normal and rule as these and rule these as isolated cases. He pleads as sincerely as he can. Go to hell, Ben says, and turns and storms out of the office. Andrew sits and stares at the place where Ben had stood. He thinks about how hard it must be to not only lose his father, but to lose a free ride. Andrew plans to organize this arcology as it should always have been. He knows Ben is not a stable individual now, and cannot have someone like that as a leader in his society. Tough decisions need to be made, and he's the right man for the job. Next scene. Unless you want to end there.
No.
Do you want to end there?
Keep going.
Do you want to end there?
No.
Do you want to rule it out?
You're not done.
Just say that's it?
Read the book.
Just scrap it?
Shh, read the book.
Set the book on fire?
Shannon.
I have it on the tablet, so...
Level 48 is unique to every arcology. It is seen as a major selling point, and in this arcology it was just completed. It features a full-size roller coaster, Ferris wheel, and a swinging ship. These blasts from the theme park past are accented by modern 3D virtual reality scenarios as well as robots, which are set to act out battle scenes from the past and future. They're not armed with real artillery, but they look scary and make a lot of noise when they fight. It is designed to appeal to anyone regardless of their age or interests, as Pixel acts it out, apparently.
She's entertaining herself.
Level 48 is much taller and far more open than any other level to accommodate the toys that lie within its walls. See, she does this when I'm doing videos, like hockey videos, and I don't know what to do, because she just runs back and forth with her tail up. I have no idea. Yeah, she slides on that carpet on purpose. The lights are turned on and the scene comes to life. Watching it is Craig Hicks, as this is part of Section B and he's been told to patrol this place when the people arrive. He doesn't know about the party Andrew Jenkins has planned, but he already doesn't like the idea of opening this park up. He turns to Section B leader Lauren Burns and scowls. They have to be bloody kidding. This is not the time. This has to be a bad joke. Afraid not, Craig. I was told to open this place up. And there was going to be some kind of announcement. I asked if we could have a meeting about this, and I got yelled at. Craig wants to reveal the speech he just heard from Mike Translow, but this isn't the time or place for such a reveal. He knows this is bad in every way. This is exactly the kind of place that the invaders could use to destroy everyone aboard the arcology. It's hard enough to patrol the place with so few officers. Now we're going to be looking at the possibility of even more people in one place at one time. It's unfathomable to me. Lauren nods. Like I said, I got yelled at. Craig looks up around the ceiling of this massive level. There are numerous air vents one could use to target people in the room. There are also various high places one could use for practicing sniping skills. There's incredible havoc one could cause merely by sabotaging the unguarded tracks on the roller coaster. These are things Craig sees, and he's sane. He shudders to think of what the crazy people might see. Craig turns and exits the main room and steps out into the park entrance, which scales down in some size to the same size as the other levels in terms of ceiling clearance. It'd be impressive if Craig could take his mind off the situation they find themselves in. His fellow officers, Ryan Darwin and Christina Horn, are waiting for him, and neither of them look any more comfortable than he is. Seriously, is all Ryan can come up with. Craig agrees with that question. Look, I don't know what the hell we're doing here. Opening this level up means the new boss wants to use it and wants to make and that makes him as insane as Charles was before he killed himself. Or he was convinced to kill himself, Christina says as a chill passes through her. How do we know who is sick and who isn't? This is all so random and just invites a terrible finish early. If Mike's right and not insane, this is exactly what our enemies want. If they want to exterminate Arcology 1237, a gathering like this is the way to do it. I'll get in contact with Mike. He was going to meet us all in an hour anyways, so maybe we can wait. Maybe we wait until then. I wish I had some damned idea what we'll do here. This is completely insane. We have every reason to shut this down, but no authority to do so, Craig says, wanting to tear his hair out. Daryl Lands, the man who designed Level 48 and helped get it running, comes out to join the officers. He's grinning ear to ear, apparently not concerned in the slightest with what's being set up to take place today. Daryl's a man who spent 60 years living in obscurity, and now he has a chance to become famous. He knows this is likely his last chance as a designer to prove to the world just how good he is at what he did. It is his desire for fame that's blinding him to what was really going on here. I think this is a great pick-me-up for this place. All those reporters up there wanting to look at what's wrong with their arcology, so let's show them what's right. It just feels like the timing's wrong, Ryan says. Hogwash, the old man says, waving his arms at Ryan. He wipes sweat from his brow with a rag. He then coughs into it before wiping his forehead with it. His health has been an issue lately, though that doesn't concern him as he stands on the verge of fame and fortune. I've been designing theme parks and fun rides for people as long as I can remember. He laughs and nudges Christina. I can remember a long way back, too, he says with a wink before coughing into his rag again. You kids all need to lighten up. People have died, Christina says, stunned that someone is insisting on levity at a time like this. The old man slumps his shoulders. The way I see it, none of us know when our time's going to be up. You can worry about it till the cows come home, but it won't do you any good. In fact, the more you worry, the worse your health gets. I make places that extend people's lives. People remember how good it felt to be kids riding coasters like the ones I design. I do what I can to help people feel better about life, and right now, that's exactly what this place needs. I'll be known throughout the world once the press sees that which I've designed to entertain these people. And maybe you're right, Craig says, and pats the old man on the back, sending him on his way. Craig even waves to the old man as he gets to the elevator and heads off to some other level to spread his gospel. Craig finally continues on with the discussion they were having before the roller coaster designer provided his opinion. I wonder if frame of mind has any effect on whatever they're doing to people. Maybe if they're happy, it's harder to affect them. Christina tosses her black hair back and smiles. Now you're being simple-minded. Someday maybe you can design roller coasters too. Right now I'll settle for living until tomorrow, Craig says. Come on, we have work to do and a meeting to keep. Maybe we can find a way to prevent a massacre, he says, and he leads Ryan and Christina to the elevator. There you go.
No.
All done.
Keep going.
All done. It's the end of that scene. Oh, I have to go and see. That's your phone telling you the scene's over.
Okay, and next one. Shadow agrees with me, don't you? Yes. How about you, Pixel? Yes. No, you're supposed to read it out loud.
Okay. All right. Just I saw the name at the start and I'm like, is this the scene I think it is? Yeah, it is. Trent Matthews has become convinced something is living inside his walls. Ever since getting onto the Winnipeg Arcology, he was worried, which is 1237, the one that they're on. He knew that the deep void of space was only a few feet away. He was terrified of that. He'd only come here due to being tired of the overcrowding on Earth, and he'd been led to believe his quarters in Section A would be amazing. He had been sold a bill of goods. Everything was far worse for him now than they had ever been on solid ground, far below the orbit he now resided in. He was living on level 52, one level below that which he was promised. He was told when he got here there was no room left on level 53, but the rooms on 52 were just as spacious. He had a hard time believing that when he saw where he was going to live. The cold walls, small living quarters compared to what he had been accustomed to when he lived in seemed like a precious life now. He had entertained regularly when he lived on Earth, but he never had a soul over to visit here, as he was ashamed of what he now had. It was too pedestrian for his liking, and he knew people as low as Section C enjoyed quarters that had to be at least this big. He put his ear to the wall, and he hears something scurrying around in there. He taps the wall and hears something tap back. The tapping back is new, and it makes his room seem even smaller. He breaks out in a cold sweat. He tries to tell himself that he is imagining this somewhere. Deep in his mind, he believes he's lost his mind. As easy as it would be to believe, the noises are too much for him to bear. If he had a wife, he could ask her to verify or deny the noise. If he had a son or daughter, he could ask them to verify and take solace in the fact that a part of him would live on if that thing inside the wall ate him. If he had friends here, he would have people to drink with and pretend the noises weren't there. There were so many ifs at play here, but they all added up to nothing but dread for him at this time. What if they were bugs? That question plagued him too. He always hated bugs, and the idea they were crawling around inside the walls didn't help him sleep. It could be anything, and that was equally unnerving. He had been assured before coming here that there were no bugs, spiders, or creepy crawlies in space. He just didn't know what else would fit inside the walls and scurry back and forth as these objects clearly were. In reality, bugs and spiders could only be here if someone else brought them, and there was no reason why anyone would. But those rational thoughts, and they were becoming increasingly rare as Trent's days passed by. All right, Trent had so many thoughts plaguing his mind today. His lights were on low. The other concern he had with space life was the lack of separation between night and day. Occasionally the sun was visible through his window, but it wasn't the same blue sky it had been on Earth, and thus didn't feel any different than any other time on the station. Always been the same. He could sleep all day, too. He had enough money that he wouldn't have to work. Never had to leave this level he'd been assigned to. He was a hamster in a cage. He didn't like hamsters much either. They were glorified rats in his mind. Trent paced back and forth in his cramped living room. He had moved his furniture away from the wall. He didn't have a picture tacked up there, and it didn't to make it feel like home. He didn't want to poke a hole in the wall and give them a way in. Trent was pacing in the no man's land between the furniture and the wall. He turns and faces the wall, pointing a finger at it. "I'm not letting you control me," he says to the noises in the wall. Somewhere in the back of his mind, again, he knows how crazy all of this seems. The rational brain is trying to get out, to no avail. He manages to sit himself down on the couch. He turns on a video screen which projects an image that fills the living room. What was once two-dimensional television has become three-dimensional projection. One could almost literally get lost in the image being projected around them. It was designed to immerse the viewer in another world. Trent hoped this would hold true for him on this occasion. Action and adventure loaded up as he chooses to live a rock climb in the Pacific Northwestern United States. He can feel everything going on around him. He finds himself happy for a few wonderful moments as he watches a young woman carefully scale a cliff and manage to conquer it. Standing atop it out of breath, he can feel her sense of accomplishment, the chilly air around her seeming to affect him as goosebumps form on his skin. It's amazing, and this is so much safer than trying to do it himself in the real world. He likely wouldn't climb 20 feet above the ground if he made the attempt, but in this medium he can feel the exhilaration a hero would. Even as he watches the show, even as he lives inside the show, he hears the noises. He wants to be fully immersed in the experience, but the noises are still there. He tries turning the volume up on the show taking place around him, but the noises actually seem to get louder. He finally tires of trying to ignore or drown out the noises and actually turns the program off. He jumps to his feet and goes to the noisy wall. He hits the wall. "What do you want from me?" he cries out, challenging the wall to reveal its terrible secret and swallow him whole if that's its endgame. His heart is racing. The noises seem to get louder and the walls start to distort, pushing out as if whatever's behind them is ready to emerge and accept the challenge. He backs away as a low growl within the wall starts within it, and he wonders if there is something far larger and more violent than simple bugs or spiders. It suddenly seems foolish to him to make that challenge where he could have stayed silent and allowed whatever's in the wall to live in peace. He goes to the kitchen and grabs a steak knife on top of the counter. Normally would be in the drawer, but he took it out earlier when he heard the noises getting louder. Now he doubted that 6-inch blade would be enough to harm whatever was ready to break through the wall, much less kill it. He can feel his heart racing faster. He makes his way back into the living room. He knows deep down inside he should exit his quarters and find sanity somewhere else. Maybe get drunk out of his mind. He could always use his personal alarm to call for the police. That might be enough for him to be convinced this is all in his mind. The rational side of his brain wants him to do these things, but he stands instead and readies to fight something which may not actually be there. Against all better judgment, he steps closer to the wall, and a large crack appears in it. It extends from top to bottom and radiates out sideways as something pushes against it. The wall explodes open, and a reptilian head emerges and bites at his throat. Trent falls to the floor, dropping the knife and staring up at the ceiling. He's died of a heart attack. The wall is as it always was, the noises and the beasts within it ceasing to exist the moment his heart gave out. The insanity had formed quickly, and those responsible would be happy with how easily he turned from a sensible man to a quivering dead mass on the floor. If the heart attack hadn't killed him, the plan was to make him stab himself with the knife while envisioning the reptilian creature had slashed him with its claws. And that's the end of that scene. Went crazy.
Yeah, I did.
And something ate him. He thought it ate him.
Right.
That killed him. So the idea of stress-induced heart attack, which nobody watching this is going to have, because as bad as things might look right now, there's always darkest before the dawn, all that other wonderful stuff. So yeah, so that's another 3 scenes. The scenes get a little bit shorter as the book goes along because you're trying to advance the story.
Yeah.
And for me, it was important that I wanted to describe that there is chaos, and there's some random chaos going on, because in society you want to make sure, if you're trying to break things down, that there are events going on that they can't really pinpoint. So they're like, okay, who's this guy? Well, why would this guy? How would he have got it if that guy had it? So trying to trace everything back would be virtually impossible, and that's the way that the bad guys wanted it. So there you go. Another section of the book done. Yvonne's decided this will be the last reading that I do. So there you go. And I, for anybody wondering, this is a hoodie I got at a Canucks game a couple months back. And I do like it.
So
I
cozy.
don't get to wear it very often because I wear jerseys for videos, and if I wore a hoodie, I think people would be very confused as to who has taken over my channel. So
It's even weird for me when I came into the room and you were wearing that. I was like, oh, it's the cozy Shannon.
it is nice. It is nice to wear, but it's, again, I'm kind of, jerseys are the thing on the main channel, so I wear jerseys all the time. So, all right, there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will continue to upload daily readings from this book and other books as well. So everything in that series, and then we'll figure out a way to get parts 4 and 5 as well, even though I don't have them in paperback. So
You can always read the electronic versions.
yes, which I think you have.
I think I do.
I think you have them. So, all right. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And remember, stay safe, wash your hands, and we'll get through this all together. I will talk to you again soon.